Hey, it's Bruce, new skills, new you. How do you make the right decision more often? How do you make sure it's the best decision the highest percentage of the time? And this is a big one for me because, being alive 2025, there are so many options. There's so many ways to do things. And we often get stuck in what is that? The paralysis of analysis. We're evaluating all the options, we're exploring all the different versions and we get stuck. We don't get anything done. So how do we make better decisions faster? That's good. How to make better decisions faster. And this is where that's why I'm writing a book. Depending on when you watch this, it may be available. Grab a copy. It's called Better Questions, Better Clients. And what I realized, the quality of questions changes the quality of our answers. So let's say we're evaluating tools. Perfect example. I was working with a client. There was a tool. Oh, it starts with a K. Was it Converse? Connect. And then Aircall and JustCall, right? The three tools do some similar things. How do we know which one is best for us? So there's three questions I like to ask. How, first of all, what do we want to accomplish? That's the first question. So the tool, you may not even have heard of those tools. Well, they're dialers. They're virtual dialers, and they have some different features, power dial in, voicemail drops, things like that. So the first question we ask, where do we want to go? That changes the conversation because now we say, well, do these tools help us get there? Do these tools help us accomplish where we want to go? So the answer is yes. All right, let's move on. Um, all prices being the same, which one's easier to use? That's my question. Because I'll pay more for something that's easier to use, that integrates with tools I already have, that's a shorter onboarding time. Here's the next question. How easy would it be to change? Let's say I make this decision, I flip a coin. All right, we're going to use Just Call. How easy is it to change? How much effort? The less effort it takes to change, the more quickly you should make the decision. Literally, just pick one. Just pick one. Um, Flip a coin, roll a dice, whatever. Just pick one. If they all have similar pricing, they do have similar features, right? And they all help you accomplish goals. Just pick. And it's a little frustrating because you're like, well, what if I pick the wrong one? You can't pick the wrong one. You already told me that they all do what you need to do. So you can't pick the wrong one. And let's say, hypothetically, you start using it. You're like, man, this is awful. Well, 90 days, by the way. Try for at least 90 days. This is awful. Switch. Again, if it's Just Call takes me, it might take you a little longer. Just Call takes me probably 2 hours to set up for a client. And then there's some compliance verification has to happen. It'll be a second step. No problem. Let's call it Monday to Friday. Done. I use it for 90 days. If I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't, I'll switch. And this is where I make decisions faster and I get results faster. Now, let's say, Bruce, this is a year contract. This is a year commitment. Right? We can't just change after 90 days. All right, great. So, bigger decision. We do want to spend a little bit more time. There's very simple. So, I already gave you the first question is, does this get us to where we need to go? Right? All prices being the same, is this easier to use? The third question is, what kind of service or support are we going to receive if we choose this product over this one? That's my next differentiator. Because no matter how difficult it is, how expensive it is to ramp up, the level of service is going to change the value you're able to extract from that product or service. That's huge. Because some breaks, the amount of time it takes you to figure it out and fix it costs you money. It costs you time, even worse. So I'm going to look at the level of service. So you're like, well, it's a year commitment. We can't just switch overnight. Let's talk service. One one thing I train on is for customer facing teams, particularly the sales team, to be more consultative. To be more consultative, to say, hey, here's how this will help you, and here's why this is important. It helps with the decision. Even if that decision is not to work with you, Sometimes that's a great decision. It's tough. You're trying to hit some sales goals, trying to hit revenue, but we're really working on attracting the type of clients we want to keep. And we want the clients that want to stay. And so hearing no is really such a great answer as long as it's an educated no. I don't want to hear maybe, I want to hear later, we'll check about it because they're delaying their success the longer they take to make a decision. You are delaying your success the longer you take to make a decision. So look for that consultative support. Ask someone who's used it before. Say, hey, Bruce, I'm trying to accomplish this. What tools uh, do you recommend? So 1, 2, and 3. Oh, hey, I was looking at 3. How do you like it? I'll tell you what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. So you can make a better decision. As long as you're confident that that option gets you to where you need to go, then you can't make the wrong decision. What we have to be careful of is you may have heard the expression fit a square peg into a round, where we want to go this way, but the tool helps us go that way. That taking longer to make a bad decision doesn't make it a good decision. So really the evaluation is, does this help us get to where we want to go? Is it easy to use? What kind of service support will we receive so we can extract more value from this decision? The fourth thing is get advice. Now, be careful. Twofold. People can only give you advice based on their life experiences. So you don't want to ask someone who's never used a tool for their advice. That sounds silly, but I gotta say it out loud because it happens. You're not someone who used it. That's why Gartner Magic Quadrants are useful. G2 is useful because you can get answers from people who have used it. I'd prefer to talk to them, but reviews are important. You have to shout out to Matthew Dixon in his book Jolt. Talks about limiting indecision. You have to set a limit. I'm going to talk to 4 people, or I'm going to evaluate for 2 weeks. You have to set a limit because there's so many options. You can literally, not figuratively, research for a year on a decision that would only really impact your business for 30 days. Uh, I was looking at, it's called a professional employee organization. And if you have W-2 employees, I strongly encourage you to check that out. It's great business model. Shifts some compliance risk away from you and helps you run smoother, grow faster, and ultimately make more money. Right? There's several hundred PEOs in the U.S. You don't evaluate them all. Just don't. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Don't. Does this help us get to where we need to go? Is it easy to use? What type of service and support are we going to receive? And who do we know that's used it? Because even if it's not the best, let's say you find out later it's top 20, when you're really looking for top 10. If it answers those 4 questions, you'll be okay. You can upgrade at the year, whenever the contract is up. But you won't have gone backwards during that time. Maybe you went forward more slowly, but you went forward. And that's a win. I can't prevent decisions from being wrong, but we can reduce that with those questions. The most powerful thing you can do with good decisions is to make a well-researched decision as quickly as possible. And finding the harmony between quicker decision and a research decision, that sweet spot is going to help you be unstoppable. So many people spend more time making the decision than acting, and they get very little accomplished. And often it's still wrong, uh, which is deeply ironic, but that's another conversation for another day. What I found is folks that make decisions more quickly have a higher percentage of good decisions. Not to rush, don't skip steps, ask those 4 questions. But the faster if you listen, I say this all the time, one new skill will change your life. You can build the skill of making better decisions. You will outpace your peers. All right, hope that helps. I've been using that for years, and it helps reduce a lot of the stress of making decisions for me, and I hope it does that for you too.